The killer posted the following message on social media, and we have to warn you, the video is very disturbing.
Hello, people of Gotham. This is the Riddler speaking. On Halloween night, I killed your mayor because he was not who he pretended to be. But I am not done. Here's another.
For me, The Batman marked a profound shift in the cinematic landscape, bringing a classic superhero into the contemporary world with striking realism and grit. But unlike many films released over the past 5 years, The Batman embodies the current decade in a way few others do. It is, at its core, an angry film, and it doesn't shy away from expressing this anger. An anger which is reflective of the frustration that many people feel towards the hierarchical and political systems that govern their lives, heightened by the film's focus on corruption within trusted public institutions. And since the film's release, this theme has only become more relevant. After a decade of Marvel's dominance in the 2010s, The Batman channels the audience's changing connection to larger-than-life heroes who have long been presented as infallible forces of good. Instead, it introduces a more flawed, morally ambiguous hero, a modern superhero who is far from perfect. When the film released back in the cold March of 2022, it struck a chord with me in the way that many films fail to do. I even went as far as to see it 5 times in the cinema. At its core, The Batman explores our place in the information age and how the digital world shapes our perceptions of justice and morality. Before delving into the deeper thematic elements of the film, it's important to discuss its visual style and how it complements the overarching themes. The Batman deviates from the glossy, manufactured look of many Hollywood blockbusters, embracing a more gritty, tactile aesthetic. Each time I watched it, I couldn't help but feel as though the camera had been physically dragged through the rain and grime of Gotham, directly into the action. The film also chooses to adopt a more voyeuristic style, placing the audience in a more intimate, sometimes uncomfortable position. This approach is evident from the very first shot, when the Riddler observes Mayor Mitchell's estate through a pair of binoculars, and from the dim lighting to the frequent use of shadows, the film's style creates a sense of unease and intimacy. It tells us that what's to come will be a personal experience, one that will force us to confront the darkness within both the city and ourselves. This visual style is integral to the exploration of the film's central themes, one of which is populism. Populism, as the film presents it, is a political idea rooted in the concept of ordinary people rising up against an elite class they feel do not represent their interests. This theme manifests in the way the film portrays Gotham's citizens, who increasingly support the Riddler's mission to expose the city's political corruption. And we can see this after the Riddler kills Mayor Mitchell and reveals his criminal activities. We see the people of Gotham rally behind his cause, even adopting the phrase "no more lies," which becomes a rallying cry for the people against the powerful elite. A chilling message which is scrawled on the walls of the crime scene that Batman investigates. One key moment in the film occurs during the mayor's funeral, when Bruce Wayne, attempting to track the Riddler's movements, encounters a man in the crowd who emerges from the shadows to express his anger towards the mayor.
Didn't help my daughter when she needed it. I can tell you that. Guy was just another rich scumsucker. He got what he deserved. Know what I mean?
The man's declaration that the mayor deserved his fate, and his subsequent return to the shadows, reflects the film's commentary on the divide between Gotham's elite and its regular citizens. It serves as a metaphor for the populist sentiment taking root in the city, slowly boiling and rising in the shadows. The film's language here emphasises that the Riddler is not part of the elite class, rather, he represents the anger and frustration of Gotham's ordinary people. One of the most striking aspects of The Batman is how it explores the rise of populism in the modern world, specifically how the internet and social media facilitate the amplification of ordinary people's voices. The Riddler's use of live streams to broadcast his actions and message is a direct reflection of this phenomenon. Social media platforms, which allow for the rapid spread of unfiltered, raw content, have empowered individuals to organise and challenge traditional power structures. The Riddler's live streams serve as a commentary on the way in which modern technology can enable populist movements and expose corruption. In contrast, the film also presents the traditional media outlets in Gotham, which are slow, controlled and processed. For example, when the news of Commissioner Savage's death breaks, the official Gotham news channels are slow to respond, processing the event in a calculated, manufactured way. Meanwhile, the Riddler's social media post spreads the truth of the Commissioner's corruption almost instantly, reaching the public in real time. The juxtaposition of these two forms of media highlights the growing tension between unfiltered, raw content and the more traditional controlled narratives that dominate mainstream media.
The Waynes and the Arkhams, Gotham's legacy of lies and murder.
I hope you're listening, Bruce Wayne. This is your legacy too, and Gotham needs you to answer for the sins of your father. Goodbye.
The film comments on how the internet has fundamentally changed the way information is disseminated, and how this shift contributes to the rise of populist sentiment. And particularly in recent months, we can see that our own world reflects this change too. On the other side of the populist spectrum is Batman himself. As a character, Batman represents a more traditional, even archaic form of justice. His reliance on physical force, his symbol of fear, and his single-minded approach to vengeance stand in stark contrast to the Riddler's use of modern tools, specifically the internet, to challenge the status quo. Batman's methods seem increasingly out of place in a world that is more connected, more digital, and more aware of its own vulnerabilities. From the beginning of the film, Batman's symbol, the bat shining in the sky, and his physical presence serves as a reactionary force. His role is to combat crime, but not necessarily to address the root causes of Gotham's corruption. Batman's presence in the film often feels more like a means to enact his own personal anger and vengeance rather than a genuine attempt to reform Gotham. This is clearly evident in the opening scene at the train station, where Batman intervenes to stop a gang from assaulting a man. After the criminals are subdued, the victim, visibly scared, looks to Batman for mercy. However, Batman's cold, detached gaze does not suggest justice, it suggests vengeance.
Please don't hurt me.
The same as when he looks at the mayor's son. He is not there to save the victim, but to punish the wrongdoers. This moment highlights the film's central critique. Batman's methods, driven by personal rage and trauma, are less effective than modern strategies like those employed by the Riddler, who seeks to dismantle the city's corrupt systems, rather than merely punish its criminals. Batman's shortcomings are highlighted throughout the film, particularly in the opening monologue, where his actions are not having the desired impact on Gotham.
The city's eating itself. Maybe it's beyond saving. But I have to try. Push myself.
His brute force can only go so far in a world increasingly dominated by information and media. The film illustrates that reputation, image, and the ability to manipulate public opinion are now just as important, if not more so, than physical power. In a deleted scene from the film, we see the Joker tell Batman that he and the Riddler are more alike than the Batman realizes. The Joker suggests that Batman believes the Riddler's victims deserve their fate, just as Batman himself believes that the criminals he fights deserve punishment.
You're just terrified, because you're not sure he's wrong, huh? You think they deserved it, huh? You think they deserved it.
This realization is key. Batman's own sense of justice is not as pure as he thinks, and it is rooted in vengeance, not genuine reform. What the Batman does so expertly is blur the lines between good and evil. The film is conscious of the fact that Batman, as a character, was created in a time when morality seemed more black and white, when right and wrong were easily defined. However, in this modern retelling, the film acknowledges that the internet, social media, and mass media have complicated these distinctions. An idea reflective in the Riddler himself, once a flamboyant comic book villain, is reimagined as a more contemporary figure, a reflection of the anger and disillusionment that many people feel towards the corrupt systems of power in their lives. Straying from his classic green-suited appearance, rather, he is now a man who uses modern tools to take on the corrupt elites, embodying the populist anger that has become more prevalent in today's world. I want to end this video by saying that ultimately, The Batman is a film about change, about how the world, culture, and individuals are all evolving in response to new technologies, and shifting social dynamics. And yet, despite all these changes, the film reminds us that there is always hope. In the final moments, as Batman helps those in need in the glimmer of the morning sun, we are reminded that no matter how dark the world becomes, there is always a possibility for redemption, for change, and for hope.